Hey there, and welcome to a new Dungeon Crawl series. After I blew up my breeding yesterday, I feel like I want to do something with a little bit of more meat on their shoulders. We're gonna play some Ogre, and I want to start as a fighter actually, because as a Ogre, you have very you have a lot of problems. Problem one, you're ugly. But that's the least of my problems here. So here's the biggest deal. You're too large for most types of armor, and yeah, I have a tough skin. That's AC plus one. Great. So let's have a look here. Too large for most armors means I can wear ropes and animal skins and troll leather armors and dragon scale armors and nothing else. I can't wear a helmet. I can wear a cloak. I can't wear gloves. I can't wear boots. Luckily, I can wear an amulet and rings, but this is the gist of it. I have a lot of good slots locked up, and I'm very limited in my armor choices. So let's have a look at the table of aptitudes here for the ogre, and here we have the 30% plus HP. So if you look it up, only the trolls have plus 30 and nobody else has plus 30. So you're having the biggest bunch of extra HP one can imagine. You learn equally fast as anybody else, you don't get more MP, and you have a slight advantage in magic resistance. That's something. Alright, but something which doesn't show up here, but it shows up here, is you're large. Being large has a lot of benefits, but its own drawbacks. Being large means your evasion rating sucks, because if you're big, you're easy to hit, right? So that's the thing. So as an ogre, you will run around with lousy AC, shitty EV, a ton of HP, but apart from that, you're especially you're really squishy in the early. You have a lot of HP, but you die like a sissy. So that's a problem, but let's get through it. I chose the fighter because the fighter starts out with a shield and a potion of might, and the shield is where the benefits of being large kick into. Let's have a look at it. So here we are. I will need only a rank of 9 to remove all the penalty of the shield, and smaller races need 15 points to reach that. And as an ogre, my aptitude is here is only -1, which is not bad at all. And it gets even better. A large shield needs only 15 skill level in shields to get rid of the encumbrance of the shield. And following through this, if you have a look here, the ogreish spellcasting got a little bit buffed with the newest patch, and you have a good aptitude on spellcasting and -1 equally everywhere on magic. -1, don't get fooled about that. It's not bad. It's really good. If you're played a lot of Demon Spawn, you know that -1 is a bit slower, but really only a bit. And when we're looking on this side, we're good at fighting, but that's all. We're good at throwing. We'll come to that benefit of being large later. And wearing armor is -2, and these are -1, so that's pretty cool. The plan here for this character will be in the long run to be some sort of hybrid character, but for now I don't want to train dodging because my dodging sucks. And my starting XP I want to invest somewhere else, like throwing. I feel like throwing is a good thing. The auto training was still enabled, so here we are. We're gonna leave it like that and get through the dungeon. Ogres are very well equipped to be spellcasters along the run, and that's exactly what I wanted to do. I felt like I want to do some beefy hybrid character, but the early game of an ogre, it's outright horrible. It's similar to a naga, but you're not slow. You're squishy as fuck, but at least you're not slow. So the shield is very powerful for races like an ogre, because it will block attacks entirely, which means the shield negates a lot of damage completely. And this is exactly what I need to survive and not to die in the first few turns. So, alright, here's the first Jackal pack. This is already really dangerous. And getting sandwiched in between these is not particularly well either, so I'm gonna go for the Might Potion here and start smacking them. It's really sad to waste a Might Potion like that, but in the long run, it's my own fault. Here I am, getting wrecked by a bat. I shouldn't have taken this like that, but I didn't want to retreat from these Jackal either, because with more beefy species, you can run away and take a few shots and take it to some narrow stairway, narrow corridor like here. But this was the best corridor I could get, and I got unlucky with the hobgoblins streaming in, but well. I entered a teleport trap and got teleported 2 tiles forward. Ruby. So I'm picking up stones because I'm training throwing, so I might as well pick up stones. Poison needles are also something I will definitely pick up, because blowguns will run over the throwing family, so it's something I can use quite well. There's a glowing dagger. I'm gonna pick that up, but I'm not gonna equip it because I don't have any remove curse scrolls, and my life is already hard enough with this +0 flail, and I don't want to run around with a -3 cursed dagger or something like that. No thank you. So the stones are lousy. They only have a base damage rating of 2, but they are your friend across the way here. It's a simple meaning of killing kobolds. I wanted to say hurting stuff from afar before it reaches you, but it's okay. So I'm gonna explain the other benefits of being large and drawbacks across the run, because I feel like it's always more interesting to see the stuff when it actually happens and not before it happens. And you just noticed how it happens to die super fast as an ogre. So there's a ringmail. I can't wear that, sadly. With any other species, a lot of your worries would be over once you run across a ringmail on D1, which is a good find for almost every character, because ringmails are, well, they're a lot better than a leather armor in terms of AC and general damage reduction, but they have a low encumbrance rating, so you can wear them quite easily. So I have my first stat increase, and I'm gonna pump it all into intelligence because my strength is really considerably high, which is really good, because that means when I find later on some good dragon scales, I will be totally rocking with that, because I have the strength to wear it and I will be still able to cast spells somehow. Alright, so D2, be concerned, be very concerned. D2 is really dangerous for an ogre. Every unique I would run across right now is absolute pain and very dangerous. And I don't want to opt into stealth right now because -2 aptitude is really not good. And I want to invest my experience into other things which make my survival easier. Sadly, that's not an optimal choice. I mean, you could do that. -2 is not too bad. But yeah, maybe stealth is actually a legit way to survive the early game as an ogre. And there is an adder. Steer clear from adders when you have no curing potions when you're playing an ogre. These thingies poison you down in no time, because you're only wearing a robe and you're easy to hit, and adders are considerably hard to hit. So this Jackal pack was a lot easier now that I'm XL3. And I placed down an exclusion. You can do that when you're pressing Shift X, move across the tile you want to have it, and press the button E. Then you're getting that exclusion. If you press E another time, you can limit it to a tile, and another E, and it's removed. So this is a very valuable tool to make your survival in the early game a lot easier. Because there are corners you just don't want to steer across. And there's a worm. Worms I'm okay with. You can run away from worms. You can run away from adders. And there's the next one. But luckily, no. Luckily, the Dark's luck has come in its way. That's what I wanted to say. So this is really bad. I have a lot of unidentified potions, and I have this double scroll. It's ancient armor. I'm gonna enchant the shield, not the rope, because the rope is something I want to switch out as soon as possible. So what I'm gonna do next, I could try another scroll and hope for a teleportation or fear. Or I could randomly quaff potions, which is considerably bad. So for now I'm gonna take 1 or 2 swings. So I got hit, but not poisoned. I got hit and got poisoned, so let's read that scroll. It's teleportation, that's good. I'm gonna be away from here in a few turns, so might as well take 1 or 2 swings, but as you have noticed, I had completely no chance beating this adder, and there's the next one showing up. So we're fleeing upstairs, and that's the life of an ogre against adders in the early game. They're totally destroying you. Face it. So the next bad thing about this, all the downstairs are getting here. That sucks. Alright, so I don't see any good chances killing this adder. But there's a hunting sling, that's good. Hunting sling is good for me. So what I'm gonna do next, I think the best bet here would be to take the hatch actually, because taking any of these downstairs is actually more or less suicide. Because there's this adder swooping around here, and if I get here or here, this thing will come towards me, I'm afraid. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try before I go for the hatch, because that's a point of no return. And we're gonna take this downstairs and have a look if this adder actually shows up when I go down here. So I'm not sure if this is still the same adder. No. There are 2 of them, and I attracted this one. What a bad decision. So there's no way that I'm gonna reach the stairs before this thing comes on top of me. So what I'm gonna do, I know that none of these potions is a might potion. So, because I already had one of those, I feel like I need to try to fight it. And luckily, I one-shot this thing. So my strat would have been to start fighting it until I get poisoned, and then I would have started to quaff potions in the hope of pulling some berserk rage or anything else like useful out of the pocket. But alright. Sometimes it's okay to be lucky. So there's one more adder around that corner. And I'm XL4 now, so this is getting better. And also my fighting and maces skills get better. The biggest issue about adders in the early game is their high evasion rating. So this hunting sling unluckily is also prone to be cursed. It could be okay to use a sling exclusively for a while, but there's another adder. And a scroll of teleportation back there, so... Alright, so... I'm able to one-shot these things with a flail. Another good side of the fighter background is that you're actually starting with a good weapon. First rock did a lot of damage, and next blow killed the adder. What's up with all these adders down here? I'm so done with this place. I'm gonna go downstairs. Because... There's another adder. Alright. That's a snake-ridden place. Mainly because I feel like I'm stressing out my luck here with all the adder encounters without actual curing potions. So let's try out this. It's an ID scroll. We're gonna ID some double. It's flight. It's not helping, but flight is not useless. So I do know of another adder on this floor, but I feel like I can explore and gain XP a lot along the way before facing the other adder over there. I have a teleportation scroll available, which is really good, in case I run into some unique I can't avoid right now. So the shield here helps a lot. I've played a lot of Ogre runs without a shield in the beginning, and I can tell you they feel a lot more rough than this. So I feel like, I don't know why Fighter is non-recommended for an Ogre, because the shield helps him a lot and it's the only background with a shield, so... Anyways. I'm still really on my toes here, because of more adders incoming, but now I have tomahawks. These do a lot more damage, and chances are I'm killing them off before they reach me. Alright, so this is quite good. Throwing is a highly recommendable skill for any ogre. Because when you're that vulnerable, it's really good to have a means to kill stuff before it reaches your face. There's an orc. There's another orc. We're gonna run away now. Even if the hound is chewing on me. So the thing about orcs, they rarely come alone. Ooh, he stabbed me in the face. They rarely come alone, and being beaten up like that and facing a orcish wizard or priest would be absolutely deadly at this point. I found the Morning Star. That's actually super good, but I'm not gonna equip it yet because the base accuracy of Flail is +0, and it has a base attack delay of 1.4. And if I have a look on the Morning Star, its base accuracy is -2 and its attack delay is 1.5. This is not much of a difference, but I'm already having trouble hitting stuff like adders. Even if the Morning Star does more damage. You guys just saw that I one-shot the adder with my flail. I don't need a damage upgrade. I need that accuracy. I need to hit stuff. And it gets even worse when we're considering that I would swing slower with this Morning Star, giving the enemy more time to smack me. So while this Morning Star is definitely a better weapon, you have to respect your ineptitude in the early game of wielding high-end weapons. Try equipping an Executioner's Axe if you're running lucky and getting one on D4 and start killing stuff with it. You're suddenly taking a lot more damage because you're swinging that much slower. So I'm done with D3. I want to go upstairs and kill this last adder off. I finally passed the test of adders, I think, even if I'm not having any curing potions available, but considering that I already killed off, how many adders? Half a dozen adders without dying to their poison, I feel like it's okay. I can deal with them somehow. Alright, but there was not much left to pick up here. So let's go to D4. So far, I'm really happy that I didn't run into any dangerous uniques. And let's search for brand. This shows you all the magical stuff you run across along the game. And sadly, nothing good showed up. So here's my first wizard. He's wielding a normal dagger. That's okay. So I'm gonna wait one turn and go upstairs with this orc. Because look at that. One simple orc. 15 damage. It's brutal. So I'm not gonna take this staircase again. Because when this orc wizard goes invisible, he will be a lot harder to hit. And there was an orc priest around that corner, and yeah. I'm a bit concerned about situations like these, so looks like I can't run away from these guys. But I want to take this wizard alone upstairs and have some me time with him. So there we go, he confused me and he's starting to kill me. It's exactly what I was afraid of. So let's try that double potion, and it's lignification. Well, that delays my demise somewhat. So next one was a haste. And yeah, I'm trying to control swing at him. Because one good thing when lignified is your AC gets really high. And the magic darts of the Orcish Wizard, deal not that much damage anymore. So that was one Arc Wizard confusing me. So I'm not gonna take that staircase again. We're gonna try this one. And there's an adder. That's at least the devil I know. So while I'm dealing a lot of damage to stuff I can't hit easily, I'm suffering great trouble killing off other stuff. So this guy has a flail of protection. Great. I'm gonna take him upstairs. Because I really want to have that flail. And I don't want to have his buddies standing on it. So this is really good. A flail of protection provides you 7 AC once you take a successful swing with it. And considering that AC is one of my biggest problems right now, I feel like this branding is really powerful for my situation here right now. In most cases, as a fighter, you wouldn't want to pick up protection branding, but I feel like for an ogre, it's actually better than it sounds. Downside of protection brandings is that you're dealing less damage with it. It doesn't add any damage into your attacks, like most other brandings do. So all my tomahawks are lying around here. It's quite hard to hit the first phantoms you run across. And I want to save some of those tomahawks in case a priest shows up. And there's a scorpion. Alright, this is really concerning. Scorpions are much more poisonous than an adder, and I don't feel like I'm ready to face that yet. I'd much rather face the Orcish priest from back there, because I still have no curing potions identified. I mean, most likely one of those is one curing potion, but nobody guarantees me that. So it looks like the Orcish priest wandered off, and I'm trying to avoid this section for now. It sucks that a lot of my tomahawks still lie around there, but I still have half a dozen, so I'm not completely unarmed here. So looks like the priest is not home anymore. Oh, there he is. So one tomahawk, one smack in the face, and he had 2 ID scrolls for me. How kind of you. So that's Berserk Rage, that's good. And Ambrosia. Ambrosia, well, it's not quite a curing potion, but it also heals you up. So there are 2 worker ants, also very poisonous enemies. Pretty concerning, but I have no chance of running away. And right now I feel like I'm getting more and more capable of killing off these guys. So I want to put up a skill target of 9 on this shield. So I stop automatically training it once I hit 9. And there's another worker ant. So this mace really does, this protection brand really does wonders for me. So rather sore throat today. This protection branding helps me really a lot. It's a very, very lucky drop for an ogre in the early game, especially since it was a flail. One weapon I'm already having a good skill rating at. So got the phantom finally after tons of stones. I don't feel like going for Shining One. Shining One is a good god. In more ways than it sounds like here. It's really a powerful god. He's also a good god, that's why I'm chuckling here. But I don't want to play him right now. I feel like I want to pick a god for this game who doesn't need a huge investment into invocations. And Shining One is really most powerful when skilled heavily into invocations. The skills of him get a lot more powerful the more invocation training you have. So it's D5, let's try some scrolls. It's Remove Curse. and enchant weapon. Might as well enchant this flail once more. So, sadly I don't have much stuff to try on. We have an Amulet of the Gormand, and well, okay. And a Dagger of Protection. So I'm gonna pass out on that. Don't feel like I want to have a Dagger of Protection. Let's try the last one too. Alright, so we got Fog covered up. And this is some serious trouble. So Grinder is one annoying piece of imp with a 50% chance of paralyzing me, which really hurts my feelings. So I feel tempted to immediately teleport, but I don't know if I just could kill him somehow. Although, don't go berserking against Grinder since he can blink. Or is it a he or... No, it's a she. Grinder is female, so... There are two ways I see to solve this problem. Point one would be to teleport now and risk being thrown somewhere on this floor where it's even more dangerous than now. Or trying to make my run to the stairs and take Grinder with me upstairs and leave her there and keep exploring. So I really want to take a shot here and trying so. So I'm taking this very, very slowly. So I got in the first pain spell, and here we are. Got her upstairs, and I'm instantly picking the teleport. I didn't need to teleport because of the blinking. You just noticed Grinder moved already away from the stairs, but I was really afraid of getting paralyzed and pained to death because the pain was a 76% chance of hitting me, which really sucks. And this centaur also really sucks. So running away would be pretty hard, but I want to try getting behind this corner. Since my EV is really bad, his arrows deal a lot of damage, and I only have good AC when I'm fighting, so these guys are really bugging me out. But everything went fine. Alright, finally I have the curing potion. Sweet. Alright, so that's an eye regeneration amulet. I prefer this highly over the Gormand amulet because I don't have too much trouble being hungry, but being regenerating is really awesome because I heal quicker. And that's some Castle altar, but he's also not fitting my into my idea here because Questlal also needs a lot of invocation investment to get really rocking. So there's the Bujian Council. They would be pretty good because you don't need invocations at all, but I don't feel like doing so. Alright, so there's Doan and Devessa. Doan has a wand of digging. Awesome. Could have been worse. So Doan is not so frightening at all, considering my high HP, but his sister is quite scary. The thing about these two guys is, once I kill Doan, his sister will go berserk and start whacking me, but I want to try killing this dude off because I really want to have the wand of digging. So there she is, going berserk, and I do have a berserk potion on my own, and I feel like my berserk should be a lot stronger than hers, considering I have a protection weapon. There we go. Problem solved. Counter berserk with berserk. Good thing about berserking as an ogre is you're getting percentage bonus HP when berserking, and when you're already having a high base HP, of course you're getting a lot more out of it. So here we are, facing the first of our kind, and running away. I don't want to fight this guy with a phantom nearby, so I feel like this is better. Alright, let's throw a tomahawk and slowly start swinging. Alright, that worked out. So as an ogre, you can actually wield giant spiked clubs. These are, well, big bad maces. good thing about them, they deal terrible amounts of damage. Bad thing about them, they have a horrible base attack delay and they require a whopping skill of 22 to be swung at min delay. If you're out for a two-handed weapon fighting style, the giant spike club is one of the best things you can get. But it requires investment, and I'm not up for going into that investment, and I'm not up for dropping my shield so quick. I might drop my shield if a floor in the future or two would suddenly find a golden dragon scale or something fancy like that, which provides a crap ton of AC. Then I might consider going for a giant spiked club. But right now, survival is my biggest concern. And yeah. Don't pick these thingies up and use them immediately only because they're having brutal amounts of damage. You're gonna ruin your game with them if you're not having the skill to swing them. It's really important to know. At this point of the game, a flail does the job as well. Especially this nice protection flail. It's gonna be hard to replace that. Alright, so I found a shop with a ruined cloak, but sadly I don't have the gold to use it, to acquire it. So far we had only these 3 gods, and I'm not interested in any of those. So let's keep searching for the temple. Again, the tomahawks soften this guy up pretty nicely. And let's see if I passed out on any javelins, but no. If you type in the skill that's concerned about the thing, like going for staves, it will show you all quarter staves and leisure tang and stuff like that showed up so far in the game. It's quite useful. So there's a slave, which means we're having the big fat kobold slave driver Pikel around. So Pikel's base stats are not the thing I'm concerned about. It's what's his wand he's using. So most of the time Pikel comes with a wand. So let's start whacking him. I'm in a considerably good spot to fight him with an AC of 10 and the shield. And looks like he had no wand now. That's quite lucky. I'm not interested in a Whip of Freezing because whips have a low base damage and the Freezing brand does damage depending on the base damage of your weapon. So basically chances are it's dealing not as much damage as my flail combined and not providing the AC. So nothing I want to have right now. If this would have been some nice electrocution whip or a venom whip, I would have been tempted. So there's the temple, finally. So, what we're gonna pick here? I'm really tempted to just straight out go Okawaru, because Okawaru is a god which needs only a low investment of invocations and still gets the ball quite rolling. But I'm not too sure. Okawaru is a very good god for hybrid characters in general, but not if you're actually not wearing some armor. I don't need that too much, to be quite honest. So I feel like I could go for Wehumid, but this would be the way to destructive magics, which is really okay. I feel like doing this. Yeah, let's do that. Wehumid works entirely passively. You don't need to train any invocations or just stuff like that. And Wehumid loves killing, so you're leveling up the piety quite easily. And Wehumid will offer you also spells across time, which will all be destructive magic, but I'm pretty okay with that, because I feel like this character could use some powerful ranged tools, more powerful than throwing weapons, that is. But I don't want to bum the throwing weapons here, but I feel like blasting stuff is just something I want to do. So there's a cloak I don't need to pay for. And it's a cloak of poison resistance. That's really good. So do I really want to buy the other one? Actually, I do. Because I want to know. Or do I? Yeah, I want to know if this is some MR cloak. No, it's actually a better cloak of poison resistance. Okay, right. So let's take that. I'm gonna enchant that to +2 as well, because every point of AC matters when you almost have none. And this poison resistance is really useful for a character which gets smacked a lot. Alright, so down to D7, and I feel like one of the worst parts for this character is over. And there's a hungry ghost, making me really hungry because he's hitting me every time. And I'm not hitting him properly. Felt like the tomahawks would have been more useful. So there's Menkare. He's a mummy with considerably low HP when you're facing him on D7. He's having pain and torment and haste. So sadly I don't have a wand of flame. Because when you have a wand of flame you can torch him pretty easily because he's susceptible to fire. Die already. So I had quite some trouble killing him. Pretty surprised. Thought that would have been easier. So I have mute potions identified. And brilliance. Alright. There's the first sky beast. This shouldn't be any problem, I think. There we go. Some new tomahawks for my collection. Alright. Let's face this orc pack. What's he wielding? A dagger of electrocution. So this is considerably dangerous. If he wouldn't die like a sissy. Elec dagger is super powerful, but I don't feel like switching away from the protection branding I'm having. And we're having a ring. I have remove curse, which I really need, because it's a cursed ring of teleportation. That's sad. I would have wished for something better. Rue altar. So maybe that's something better. I would like some ring of protection here, or magic resistance. Oh, it's a ring of poison resistance. Well, that's not too bad actually. I mean, right now it's useless. I have this cloak and I'm not gonna turn it up, drop it down. But if I happen to run into another good cloak, which doesn't provide our poison, I at least know that there's a ring around solving that problem for me. That's okay. Because I really like to pick up MR cloaks if they're available. So, there's this cobalt pack. I'm just gonna kite them back here. It's no biggie to kill them. So, biggest issue here is this Ogre. But these tomahawks really start smacking when you're training your throwing somewhat. And I'm gonna also put up a skill training target for throwing here. Because I don't want to skill that up endlessly. I'm running around with 5 enchant weapon scrolls. That's amazing at D8. So if I would only find a brand weapon scroll, I could make some badass weapon out of this morning star. So I don't want to read this scroll right now. And killer bees. Alright. Killer bees are considerably dangerous, but I'm poison resistant, so I'm trying to take a few swings. If I wasn't poison resistant, I would have gone into lignification immediately, because the tree form provides you our poison. But seems like it was only a small pack. There we go. There's a sky beast corpse. Feeling tempted to mutate me a little bit. if you chop these people down and eat their flesh, you will get mutations randomly, good or bad. But I'm running around with 2 mutation potions, so somewhat tempted. Alright, Sandblast. I'm gonna take that, because Sandblast is a very simple spell which only needs training in Earth Magic. So what I'm gonna do next, I feel like I'm gonna drop fighting for a moment, because I have an overabundance of HP. Fighting also increases my 2-hit chances and my damage in general, but I really feel like I want to go for some magical training. I'm gonna drop throwing as well, and I'm gonna focus this for now. That's a potion of degeneration. Alright, lots of good potions here. Haste and curing. And a potion of resistance. Alright, some null. Just gonna tomahawk them down. So the thing why I'm picking up these spells while the tomahawks do this work so good is I don't know if I find enough ammunition in terms of ranged weaponry here. And spells, they are an infinite source of ranged attacks. So these rings are positive energy and protection from cold. That's nice. It's not overwhelming, but it's also not underwhelming. And other thing why I want to have this spell is these tomahawks, like I said, I don't have many of them. But if I throw these at minor enemies, which are simply not worthy of ammunition, then I'm gonna be wasting ammunition. But it's really good to soften up your enemies from afar. So that's what Sandblast will provide for me, some option to soften up my enemies from afar without wasting my precious throwing weapons. So there's a short sword of speed. Not interested. So I lost 1 tomahawk in this fight again. And they get less and less. So there's a new floor. Let's try these scrolls. Vulnerability. I don't know if I already found magic mapping. Yeah. So that's why I delayed the scroll reading here, because I don't want to waste a magic mapping scroll for nothing. But at this point, this character is quite stable. The 13 AC while fighting are not bad, combined with the shield. And that's why I picked the fighter background, because apart from some wonky situations in the first few levels of the dungeon, everything is pretty good so far for me. And that's mainly because I have a shield available from scratch on. So there's a Hellhound. Of course, I have the fire entrance of the Lair when I'm not having any fire resistance. And there's he coming closer. So I want to fall back a little. I'm trying to only take the narrow corridors where the Hellhound cannot get past the Ogre, I wanted to say. So I screwed that up. But I have enough heal wound potions to try it, to fight it. But without fire resistance, Hellhounds can do considerable amounts of damage. But everything went well. So there's this vault. It's worth noting that this vault almost always has a lot of degeneration potions. And it's quite a nasty one, because when you run across it, you're gonna have lots of duplicates, and might be tempted to think it would be something good when you're randomly quaffing it. So this pack has a priest with among them. While my HP are not that low anymore that I have to be afraid about every priest, I still don't want to give him too many chances to smite me, because Stuff can go wrong so quickly. And there's a Sky Beast. So let's have a look-see at the Sandblast. It's getting there. Sandblast consumes rocks while casting. You can cast Sandblast without rocks, but then the spell gets a lot less powerful. So now I have a spell I can fling at random orcs or stuff like that, which is not worth throwing tomahawks at it, because I really need those tomahawks for high priority targets. So I think I'm gonna redefine this macro for a moment, because I don't want to aim every time I press this button. So there's a troll. It's quite concerning. Trolls hit really hard, and I'm only wearing a robe. So I'm gonna try how this goes, but if I suffer tremendous amounts of damage in a few turns, I'm gonna lignify and increase my AC with that. But everything went well, and I got really lucky. I got a troll leather armor. That's quite some upgrade in the life of an ogre, because now I have the double regeneration from the amulet and the armor, which makes me a lot more powerful. So for wizards I want to use my tomahawks, but not for the orcs. So Sandblast was not the optimal spell I wanted for the level 1 gift from Behumid, because Sandblast has a very limited range. I would have preferred some level 1 spell with a higher range, but well, that's the thing about Behumid. It's worth noting that Behumid will give you spells you haven't seen yet. So if you've run across a lot of books, you can exclude a lot of spells. I paused here for a moment because I'm standing in front of a two-headed ogre and I didn't notice that I got Throat Frost offered. So I'm gonna drop the earth magic training here, drop the spellcasting for a moment and get back to these and how to deal with this two-headed ogre. I don't think I can take him down in direct combat. I think I will take way too much damage while fighting him. I'm gonna take 1 or 2 swings. I mean, maybe this will work out better than I think. It actually does. Great. So I think the combination of the shield and the protection branding really saves my bacon here against stuff like that. But what's really problematic about this, this one ogre went super well, but don't think the next one will be as easy. You really need to be careful when wearing only light armor and facing hard-hitting enemies, because there's a lot of variance in the hits you will take, and from time to time stuff gets really ugly. Speaking about really ugly, never face a queen bee together with killer bees. She will berserk them, and your life will be pain. Berserk killer bees are... holy shit. There are not many things in the early game which can screw you up quicker than killer bees. So there's a box of beasts, and I found a wand of flame. So right now this game bumped me a little in terms of evocables. So I found the entrance to the lair, and I think I'm gonna go there. Because I'm poison resistant, which is considerably good, I feel like I'm ready to go for the lair, but I'm gonna cut this episode here. I feel like this is a good point to make a break. And so far, this ogre is really fun. And I agree that ogres have a hard time in the early game, but once they get rolling, they're really a lot of fun to play. So, see you guys in the next episode. Bye bye.